powerful people? We are here with Cassandra Eskridge, the owner of the BarbHer Studio, and she is about to be on the spot. She has expressed some nervousness, and I'm like, no, girl, this is going to be so fun.
Oh, we got random questions.
Random. I don't even know what the question is. Okay. Would you rather walk on the moon or explore the deepest oceans? Explain your choice.
Well, that Titanic submarine just went missing, so I'm gonna probably go with the moon.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't know what the choice, like why.
Yeah, just to prevent,
I think,
danger.
I mean, outer space would be dangerous too. Either way, you would probably, there's a lot of lack of oxygen there. I've heard that's probably the worst way to die. Maybe the moon, because sometimes I think it was a conspiracy, so maybe I'll be taken to Area 51 instead. Let's go with that.
So interesting, bringing in some conspiracy theories. All right. Well, I'm into that. I think I would go ocean just because I love the water. I didn't think about the Titanic thing, but I'm going to still rock on.
Too fresh.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So you have an interesting profession and passion, barbering. That's unique for a woman. Just share a little bit how you got into it.
So in high school, I actually got my cosmetology license, but I did not want to take that route. I did that for fun. And then I joined the military. When I got out, I got a job as a receptionist at a barber shop in North Carolina. And it took me a minute to just be like, oh, like I can use my cosmetology license. I started cutting hair. I didn't really like it at first. I wasn't passionate about it. I looked at it like a job. And then I started working at a barber shop with barbers who were passionate and who were very good. And it made me realize, like, hey, this can be a career. We started going to barber shows. I started traveling, cutting hair. And it just kind of brought me full circle back to home. I've even had my cosmetology instructor reach out for me to do classes.
Wow.
Haven't got to do that yet, but that just kind of shows how it's brought me back.
Oh, yeah. So these barbering shows, like, share that. What's that experience like?
So they're more of like a trade show, like anything, like if you like Comic-Con or different vendors will go and they'll set up, you'll have classes, competitions, just really good networking. And it's a good way to get remotivated in the industry.
Yeah. So you brought up two things that I feel like are important topics for people as they're thinking about their careers. It's number one, you mentioned that you were more inspired when you were around a group of people who were inspired by their work, that they were passionate about their work, and that it's important to connect to places where there's continued growth, professional development, you're connecting to the latest trends. So just follow up a little bit more about how important it is to continue to grow in your field.
I think it's super important to have those people. Right now, I'm by myself in my studio, so I have to really dig deep and try to like reach back into my toolbox over everything I've learned over the years and keep myself motivated, because it's very easy to get demotivated and just, I guess lose some of that fire. So I do plan on making myself go, to some hair shows and things like that, just to keep up with it. I've been trying to network more, meeting up with local barbers in the area, things like that. But it really is hard not having, that support system.
Right. I saw on social media that you're a part of a cool thing coming up with providing haircuts, free haircuts for students. How'd you get connected up with that?
So I actually, when I first moved back, I posted a Facebook ad that I was claiming to be Martinsville's hottest new barber.
Okay.
Which, and it did catch the attention of some other barbers who reached out to me just to kind of, get me in the loop of like, hey, like, this is how the community is here, and he invited me to be a part of the back to school thing. And I was like, awesome. And he actually ended up knowing some people that I know from North Carolina. And it's just, I'm like, the barber community can be kind of small. Like, it's big, but it's small.
Right.
So it's, you're only one person away from knowing somebody else a lot of times.
Right. So barbering has changed with social media because people are utilizing that as a platform to showcase their artistry, to promote themselves. How are you maximizing the power of social media to share what you do?
Well, I am actually having to relearn that here in Martinsville. Instagram has been the best platform everywhere else. Now I'm learning Facebook is the best platform. So what I myself am doing, I'm going to focus more on Facebook to get clients here, where Instagram is great. But in the industry, it's also became a place where it's like barbers want to impress other barbers for whatever reason. I mean, I'm included in that. It's really easy to get wrapped up in the social media thing. But you have to remember, everybody doesn't want this perfect Instagram haircut. Some people want a 2 on the sides, and a 3 on top. And that's not a fancy haircut that, you want to post as a barber, but it's what your clients want to see. So for myself, that's an ongoing battle. But I do plan to, like I said, use Facebook to attract my clients in this area. And I plan to take a little bit of a different route with Instagram as far as branding myself in the barber industry, and not so much worry about attracting clients with Instagram in this area.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point that life is different here for social media. And I found that when I was trying to get our brand out there more and more, Instagram is nice to have. It's been nice to have for more so for connecting to people outside the community. But this community is definitely a Facebook driven community. People are getting a lot of their information on Facebook. So it's a challenge for people. If you've lived elsewhere, you kind of are looking at it from a different perspective. But I've heard that from a lot of different people who come into our community. And I've also experienced it myself, like the differences in platforms. I love how we met, actually. It was not on social media. It was in real life. And I was hanging outside Brenda's Catering in Uptown, and you walked up and you were promoting your business with flyers. And I thought, yes, I love it. That's old school. That's old school hustling. And you had your baby. So talk about how you're doing it all different ways, promoting the business.
Yeah, I was doing business cards, but my business cards, again, have Instagram on them. And I'm like, this isn't working. Like, I was getting a few calls. I was like, let me try to hang up some flyers, hanging them out. Let me go talk to people, which is really pushing me out of my comfort zone because I'm not used to doing that or having to do that, especially since I'm, like I said, I'm in my own little studio. It's not a barber shop. Every other place I've worked has been a barber shop with walk-in traffic. So it's a learning curve for me as well. I've been playing with, the Facebook ads still, but, sometimes that hand-to-hand is a lot better because people actually get to meet you, like see your personality, ask you about your work. You might, run into someone who knows like somebody or was from, like, I was in Atlanta, like I handed a flyer out to a girl who was like, oh, I just moved back from Atlanta too. So it's just, you get more personal with it. And I felt that the flyer it's still personal because I still have to hand it to someone, but I don't have to word vomit quite as much.
Okay, yeah.
Because I can tend to do that, and it just has all of my info. So I hand them the flyer, hey, here you go, take one of these, and I can go on about my day, or they might ask me a question and, we have a conversation.
That definitely made an impression on me because I feel like even though I use social media as a tool to share information about what we're doing in the studio and projects, and, we are consistent with posting and sharing information, I also love having a personal connection with people, and I prefer personal connection. And those type of interactions stand out to me more than if I would have seen a post from you, because it would have been a part of the noise of the scroll.
Right.
As opposed to, like, I met you in that moment. I understood you're a young mom who is fearless and by any means necessary going to make this happen. And I connected to that. I'm just like, yes, I'm here for it.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I think I had said it that day, but that morning that I was doing that, I literally broke down and was like ready to pack it up and move back to one of the places that I had already lived before, because I was like, this is tough, out here. It's different. It's a small town, but it's just as scary, trying to build a business here as it is in Atlanta, because you can fail anywhere you go, or you can succeed anywhere you go.
Right.
But yeah, I literally had a breakdown that morning, and I just went for a drive with the baby. She was sleeping in the back seat, and then I was like, okay, I can't give up. What can I do today? I went and I had 100 flyers printed off and I handed them out, and I never thought that would, bring me into an interview room. So,
You never know. You
right.
never know. Tell me about being a mom and an entrepreneur. How are you managing all of that?
Well, I'm very scatterbrained lately. It's getting a little better the older she gets, especially now that I'm back home with family. Like, I have a little bit more time because I'm able to, say, hey, Mom, watch her, so I can go do this. But I'm just trying to take it one day at a time. I want to grow, and I would like to have my books filled. But at the same time, I know she's only going to be little for so long. So I'm trying to find a healthy balance of like, okay, I have this career where I am fortunate to be able to make my own hours and I can bring her with me. But, I can't have 5 appointments back to back and not expect to, if she needs something, like it can throw me off. So it's, it's a learning curve. But she's been with me since I went back to work when she was 2 months old, and she's been with me every day. It's doable. I think it's hard. I think I'm very fortunate to have family to be able to help me and fall back on. But I'm not sure. I think I would have been okay if, say, I would have stayed in Atlanta and kept doing what I was doing. But I don't think it would have been worth it because now, I'm able to. Like, she knows her grandma and grandpa now, versus there, she didn't, we didn't have any family there. And it's definitely, I'm learning how to, I guess, plan for the future, because for so long, it's been about how do I revolve my work life around her. But as she gets older, eventually she's going to go to school, eventually she's going to be going to daycare or, to the babysitter and playing with other kids. And, Mom is going to have a little more time to go focus on her career. So I'm just trying to, stay strong, with it. Just
It feels like it's going to be an interesting transition for both of you.
Yeah.
Because, she's become accustomed to being with you. And likewise, she's your business partner.
Yeah, and she will just play while I'm cutting hair. A lot of the clients love seeing her. It makes it feel a lot more family friendly. And people are really understanding, a lot more understanding than I thought they would be when I'm like, hey, I got to sit down. I got to go feed her real quick. Give me 10 minutes. Nobody really ever trips about it. So
I know. And that's important for people to embrace parents in general in having a relationship with their children or with other family members that they may be caregivers for, being a part of the business dynamic. And so I think more and more there's not going to be the level of separation. The pandemic is one instance where we've seen more hybrid scenarios where there's a blending of personal and professional. And while I definitely think there are opportunities to create balance when they're separated, there's also opportunities to create a new type of healthy balance when there's more fluidity with it.
Right.
So what are you hoping to get into next? What's on the horizon?
Well, the BarbHer Studio is a name that I came up with when I moved back here, and I don't know why, it took so long for that to hit me. But I had been searching, for years. I was like, what could be my brand? Like, my Instagram name is Yeah Right Foley. That has nothing to do with barber, and it's unique, but I want to be a brand. So I'm hoping to step more into the BarbHer brand and bring some things with that. Those are still in the works.
Top secret stuff. We're not going to reveal secrets.
But it's coming together. And then I have other things that, like, a lot of people will call being a barber their side hustle. Well, that's my career at this point, but I have, some side hustles with, like, I'm doing real estate. I'm helping my dad with his fence company. I plan to, kind of be a jack of all trades, in the future. But right now, I know barbering. I'm good at it. I already, I've done it before. Like, I can do it again type thing. So I'm going to stick to that until my daughter's a little bit older and I can, not have to focus so much energy on her.
Right.
Because the easiest thing is to just, I know how to cut hair. So I'll do that. And then I'll also spend a lot of time with her. and I expend a lot less energy doing something I already know,
Mm-hmm.
And raising a child versus trying to do a whole new career path and raise a child, which I've never done either before. So,
Right. So all new adventures for you, which is great. So now I feel like we're in an era of like the side hustle. Even though people have had side hustles, since the beginning of time, I guess, and since the beginning of people working, there's always been an opportunity to make money doing something else on a part-time or gig basis. But now there's a lot more conversation about having a side hustle, having multiple streams of income. What are some tips that you would give people who are exploring side hustles? What have you found to be good strategies for making sure that you're balanced and then identifying something that is a passion?
it was probably when I first started cutting hair. I remember hearing someone say, like, being a barber is not a side hustle. Like, you don't want it to be a side hustle. You don't want it to be your hustle,
Right.
even because a hustle means you're just doing it. You're not really passionate about it. And like, I think a lot of people probably misuse hustle. Like, I understand why I say it too. We want to hustle and do all that. But if you're just hustling, like, I don't think it's as serious as if you're really focusing on one thing, because you can do all kinds of side hustles, but which one, are you successful at any of them?
Right.
Or, are you just doing a little bit here and a little bit there and then finding yourself saying, like, why is nothing working? It's because I think you do have to really focus all of your energy on one thing, because we like to say we can multitask, but we really can't multitask, I think, as good as we think we can.
This is true.
So that's why I said, okay, I'm great at photography. I want to do real estate. I want to help my dad with the fencing. But Cassandra is good at being a barber. So while you have a toddler, Cassandra, be a barber. When you have 7-year-old that's in school, then you can start learning how to be a photographer. Then you can learn how to be a real estate agent. Like, it's cool now, I can go ahead and do the schooling and get that done and have that in my pocket. But it would just be too much on me, too much on her, probably too much on my parents if I'm stressed out trying to do everything when, I can't even change a diaper sometimes without getting stressed out. So I'm like, let me just build the barber business. I can always cut that down to 2 days a week if I wanted to and, go on a different path.
So it's about prioritizing.
Yeah, and as far as finding a passion, I think you'll know. Like, sometimes I struggle with, like, is cutting hair my passion? Then I think about it. It's like, maybe not actually cutting hair, because that in itself can be frustrating. Like, I'm good at it and I can, sometimes relax doing it. But if I'm stressed out, it doesn't relax me. But what does make me happy about it is I can set my own hours. I can come to work when I want to. I can be my own boss in that sense. And it's like freedom. Like, I used to say, I just go to work, and I don't go to work. I just live every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to work 3 hours today, or 8 hours today. And that's my choice. I don't have to answer to anyone. And I don't have to wait on a paycheck.
Yeah.
So
I love that, and definitely appreciate you coming through to be on the spot, just sharing a lot of gems with us. And of course, we wish you continued success. Anyway, we can promote your BarbHer Studio. Would love to. Thank you.
thank you.